Welcome back, everybody. Well, most people think making money comes down to just investment returns. But financial planners say the biggest factors of financial success have less to do with investment performance than the decisions made along the way. Nathan Fort with Vital Retirement Planners joins us for our Money Matters segments. We are breaking down the 5 decisions that matter more than investment returns. Of course, returns are important, right, Nathan?
Yeah, we like great returns. We're not going to throw those out the window. But one thing I've learned in the last 20 years helping people in Central Texas is they do so much to try to get that extra 1 or 2% in returns. And I understand why. I think big banks and brokerages are to blame for training everybody to think that way, very product driven.
Sure.
When really there are other decisions that can matter a whole lot more.
All right, let's talk about those decisions.
Okay, first is taxes. Think of Uncle Sam as the uninvited dinner guest with a giant appetite.
That is exactly what I think about.
Giant appetite, and he may invite some friends with him, right? So you just don't know how much of your food he's going to consume. So you don't know how much of your investments you get to keep, how much you're going to have to hand over to Uncle Sam. So you could be chasing those returns and at the same time ignoring opportunities to uninvite Uncle Sam from your investment account.
So you got to do some
from
tax
your retirement.
planning,
You got to
right?
do some tax planning. It's huge. That's a big one.
All right, what else?
Well, you need to make sure, especially for people who are getting closer to retirement, that you make smart decisions about Social Security.
That's right.
For most people, you can claim as early as 62. You can defer as late as age 70. There is no one-size-fits-all template advice that works for everybody. For some people, it's the absolute best thing to delay. For others, it's the smartest choice to take it early. Well, how do you know which is which?
That's right.
Well, you have to have a financial plan to steer you, because ultimately you're either deciding to delay withdrawals from your retirement accounts and your investments, or delay Social Security. You need to know what your strategy is.
And which one, if you're married, who should take that, right?
100%.
Who should take, right? So lots of questions for you. Okay, you can't talk about the future without talking about retirement planning.
Yes, retirement income and cash flow, even if whether you're close to retirement, in retirement, or you're a long way from retirement, you need to be thinking about cash flow. At the end of the day, the reason for accumulating assets and investing is so that you have a resource that will pay you.
Right.
You're creating the ability to pay yourself a retirement income. So the closer you get to retirement, the more you need to focus on income-oriented investments. What investments, what allocations, what positions should I be looking for that will generate cash flow? That's more important even than the returns, than the net worth that you're accumulating.
Sure, all right. But what about estate planning? Where does that fall?
Yeah, you need to have a plan for how you're going to use your assets, and then have a plan for how other people are going to use your assets, right? That's the essence of estate planning. But the big thing we see a lot of people miss is they skip the step of, hey, there may be a survivor situation. If you're a couple, right, married, you have a significant other, what situation is the survivor going to face when you pass away? And there could be significant tax problems that you could avoid with some planning. So you have to make sure you're managing that.
You got to talk about trust and, avoiding
wills
probate,
and trusts and
all that good stuff. And one final decision.
Coordinate everything. Make sure everybody's coordinated. Imagine building a house. You've got a plumber, you've got an electrician, you've got a flooring person, you've got a drywall person, you've got an interior designer, and none of them are talking to each other. What a nightmare you're going to have to deal with. So make sure that all of your resources, all of your assets, the advice you're getting is coordinated. And the very best way to do that is to have a real financial plan that you're using. And that's one reason why we offer a free financial clarity session at Vital Retirement. So it's free for anybody who wants to participate.
Because there are a lot of questions that go along with these 5 decisions that people need to make. So again, Nathan is from Vital Retirement Planners. If you have any questions, please reach out to him. All right, thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back.